What's up?
Good afternoon.
Come on, Chris.
It's 2:09.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
And that's the update on the Ego Stubby Blower.
This is how much I care about the people who listen to the podcast right here.
Matt, I thought you already had lunch. What did you eat earlier?
I ate 4 times a day.
Okay.
So I got 2 lunches.
2 lunches.
Mm-hmm.
Second lunch. All right. And he's got some grilled chicken, fried rice, yum yum sauce for you Japanese steakhouse fans.
All calculated within the macros.
So you're still on board for another week. That's good.
Yeah, no cheats. I'm doing good.
Ooh, nice. Any update on the weight loss, or is it steady and just...
Yeah, I'm 240.8. Down from 252.6.
Okay, there you go.
This is the end of
Working.
week. Coming up on the end of week 5. Not bad. But I probably gained... We're going to find out today. I'm going to do a scan, but I probably gained 3 or 4 pounds of muscle.
Oh, yeah, you got to check that out. So losing fat, gaining muscle. Doing it without the standard process.
Yeah, I'm becoming a
Hate
fabricator,
yourself.
too. Did you see me over there fabbing up some stuff?
Yeah, all right. I explained to the audience in the chat that we're going to get a late start because you were fabricating next door.
Mm-hmm.
He's had his goggles on. There was a welding equipment nearby.
Squint technique. Double eye squint.
All right,
What's going on here, Chris? Anything exciting?
Well, the people in the chat, they've been, since you were running a little behind, they were kind of talking amongst themselves about what they could say to get you on a rant today. So there are lots of ideas thrown out there.
I won't be hungry, so that'll be good.
That's true. No hangry. Let's see. Oh, Tanner, here's a question for you from our good Canadian friend, Tanner. What does it cost to have someone do your macros and make your meals for you?
I think it's about $400 a week, including cost of food.
I was going to say the food's the expensive. Well, that's the expensive part. But yeah.
It's like half of it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less than half.
Yeah, so pretty effective if you stick to it, though. And you get
Well, the cool thing is that Michelle McLean that's cooking for me, she likes what I like, so it works out.
That is nice.
Which means no vegetables,
No
keep
stinky
it simple,
salads.
no salads. I mean, a salad's kind of hard to do macro-based eating anyway. I need to get a lot of protein.
Nothing but lettuce and
Useless.
tomatoes. Let's see here. Jay wants to know, did you watch Pan's Wash and Talk? Seems to be inspired by you.
No, I didn't.
Didn't watch that yet.
I don't watch a lot of YouTube detail and stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I watch Danny Duncan. I watch Candace Owens. I'm just kidding. Sometimes Candace Owens always pops up on my feed. I'm like, get out of here. And then I start watching it. I'm like, yeah.
How about Sam the cooking guy?
Leftists.
Sam the cooking guy? You still?
Sam the cooking guy, yeah. Although I only seem to like Sam when he cooks steak and burgers.
Let's see here. Our buddy Greg wants to know, is Matt capable of growing a beard?
I think so, yeah. That's a new development in the last 5 years or so.
Give him time. Let's see here. Hey, Chris and Matt. Chris, when are you coming to Montreal? Never. Dinner on me. Well, now I'm halfway there. I don't pass up a free meal very often. Maybe Mike one day, Montreal. Let's see. I have a couple easy questions here I'll start out with for you. First of all, and I open this link here from AdamNance14 on Instagram. The vacuum question keeps coming up. So this is a Nilfisk. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
So he wants to know, do you know much about this one? Have you seen this one? Is this on your list of possible vacuum solutions? I guess it's a good one.
Maybe.
Nilfisk makes pressure washers too. I know that much.
Yeah. I wonder if they make them or if they just buy them. You know, because Nilfisk does specialize in pressure washers, so I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
I mean, seems like there's a trillion different vacuums.
Tim is warning you. He says, "Dang, Matt, give that lunch a chance. You're eating it like you're mad at."
I thought I was eating slower than normal.
You got the fork, like you talked about last week. You're going straight to the efficient fork movement there. Wow, that's gross. Why are you eating on the mic?
Because I want to. Who's going to stop me?
Let's see. Our buddy Dan up in Minnesota wants to know, hey, what kind of bass response / thump does the Dyne Audio Music 7 have? What has it got, a 5-inch woofer in there?
Yeah, I mean, they play down to 40-ish hertz. I mean, if you're listening to Drake all day, it's probably not the right speaker. but no speaker is really the right speaker. You would need a subwoofer, like a legit 18-inch JTR or something like that. So it'll sound good. But if you like that kind of stuff, like if you're the guy that gets in a rental car and cranks up the bass to +6 for some reason, it's not the right speaker for you. But I mean, they'll play pretty low. They sound pretty good.
All right, I have a question I know the answer to, I think, from VIP Lucas on Instagram. When are you tinting the Model 3? I think that's coming up next week, right? The 28th?
Mm-hmm.
A week from today.
Yep. We're going to video it, too. So, and then after that, I'll do the radar detector.
All right, while we're on the topic of Tesla, B-Car Picks wants to know, curious how the white Tesla seats are doing after you protected them with color lock.
Really good. Yeah, they just wipe clean. And, no problems. One more bite.
One more bite. All right, let's see if there's another good question here. Oh, here's one from our friend EC on Facebook. Hey, Matt and Chris, I recently purchased a Motive brake bleeder after seeing you use it a few weeks ago. Definitely a great tool, but I agree that one should get a vehicle-specific adapter because the universal one is janky and sprung a leak on me. Just wanted to give a thanks for highlighting an awesome tool I wouldn't have known existed otherwise.
Yeah, credit Raz and Chelsea for turning me on to that. It's been on my list forever, but I just never got one. And it makes it so much easier.
All right, a question from Mike up in Montreal. They have the Simonize equivalent to the Active up there. He has the VE51, not the VE52. 1650 PSI, 1.8 GPM. Which 40-degree nozzle do you think I should use? 3.0? Something else?
I think 3.5 is what we tested on that. So yeah, either 3.0 or 3.5 will be what you want.
Johannes says he has a Model 3 on the way and he chickened out on the white seats. What are the other options that you could have besides
Black.
White and black? That's it.
Yeah, it's black with like a teak-looking, light wood trim, and that's the main reason why I got white, because then it has black trim. Looks cool. But yeah, I mean, for practicality, white's not smart.
All right. If Michelle M is out there, she'll appreciate this. From Matt Jones. Hey, Matt and Chris. Thanks to the last home tour video with Michelle, my wife was watching it and now wants a journal and me to write in it.
Oh, Lord. That's nonsense. How about you get a journal and write in it yourself, lady? That's what I say.
That's good stuff. Akira Club Music on Instagram says, Matt, when are you going to ollie over your GT4 with a legit ramp, of course?
Yeah.
Because those pictures you posted were...
Oh, I've been meaning to talk
popular.
to Bryce and the guys that have build me a custom board. I want an Obsessed Garage board. I'm gonna get a new one. I have an old Zoo. No, actually, it's an Element, I think, is the deck. I forget what trucks I have, but yeah, I'm gonna get a new one. I'll bust out some tricks for you guys. I have to practice a little bit. It's one of those things that takes me like an hour or two, like on the board, to like be able to start to actually get the board off the ground.
Get back in it.
Yeah. So if I took an hour or two for a couple of days, and I could heel flip, kick flip, ollie, reasonably, do a couple, maybe a shove it, but I'll end up having to bust my head a couple of times.
Yeah, so if you're not sure what he's referring to there, just go back. It was last weekend when you cleaning out your closet and ran across these pictures here.
Yeah. I bet you those are Chris pictures for you. He probably dug those. You like the shorts and
the shorts that are almost pants. Are those Jinko or those?
No.
Jinko. Like these are better than.
Yeah. These were like generic, or they were actually those were probably some skate brand like a DC or Element or Etnies or something like that. I always wanted, even when I was poor, I wanted the nice stuff. I didn't want some Jenkos for the poor kids. I didn't want that crap. I didn't want to be lumped in with them.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and this was probably before that anyway. That stuff came out after people like me made it cool. then it started to come out.
And look, Michelle will be so happy to see you. Here you are with your fishing pole. Look at you.
Yeah.
You're fishing, wearing those jorts.
I used to fish a lot, but it's one of those things. It's like I used to snowboard a lot too, and I've been there, done that. On to the next thing.
All right, so check that out on Instagram if you want to enjoy some pictures from the past. Late high school, early college years.
Yeah, I finished up. There was like the last thing of the closets just cleaning out. And I'm like, and I saved them. And I'm like, well, let me just throw all this crap away. And I'm like, well, people might want to see the old Wu-Tang picture and the purple leopard bedspread with the ab roller. I used to use that thing like crazy. The ab roller is actually pretty legit. You know, you could use that and get some decent abs going on there. Remember, I had a bottle hydroxy cut. Remember that? Remember back when I had a Fedra and an ab roller and do that? And you're like, if I just do this every day. I mean, I would go to the gym too, but I was always looking for. I was doing 2 a days. I'd go in the morning, go at night.
Yeah, if you're doing the hydroxy cut.
Oh yeah. You got all kinds of energy. That stuff make your heart palpitate. Oh boy,
yeah, there's a reason I think they took that off the shelf.
Yeah.
Charlie95 has an easy question for us here with regard to the active pressure washer. What do you recommend for the back output to mount it on a shelf? Not sure how it would work without an elbow. Well, the good news is, Charlie, we have the elbow for that. It's in the OG store. Just search elbow, and you'll see it. We got one for the active. All right, let's see. Henry, our friend across the pond, says, "Hey Matt, when would I use Sonex's Cutmax in place of Jesscar in 101?"
It just depends on the paint, you know, having that. It's if you can get away with using Cutmax instead of 101, you're going to be better off because it doesn't make a huge mess. But sometimes you need to get the solvent-based brush stuff out. Like I'm probably going to have to 101 polish my entire, E36 because that paint is hard as a rock. So it just depends. It's a good polish to have. Sorry, I got something in my freaking contact that scratched my eye or something, drive me crazy. But it just depends. It's just a good polish to have in your cabinet, I think. Something that you're going to use only when you need to. Hopefully Jesscar does the trick most of the time.
All right, Blindmount here says, "Did you install radar yet on your Tesla 3?" Not yet, right?
No, not yet. I like to wait till tint gets done because then Martin goes in and jacks it all up because he has to move it out of the way. So if I'm going to spend all that time getting it all leveled up and fixed, then I'd rather just get the tint done first.
We got a good question from C-Mac here. I guess he was looking at those pictures and saw all your VHS tapes.
Yeah.
What were some of these staples in your VHS collection? What did you have going on there? I can't really zoom in there.
Face Off would have been in there.
Independence Day, maybe?
Independence Day. The Rock.
Nicolas Cage.
Mall Rats. What else did I have in there? I don't think Can't Hardly Wait was on DVD. That would have been DVD.
And dual VCRs. Is that so you could play one?
Well, one was my roommate's and one was mine. I'm like,
okay.
If we can have two's better than one. So we could record stuff, In fact, in my sophomore year, one of my buddies found he found another kid's Blockbuster card that fell down in the air conditioning vent.
Oh, from like a previous year.
Yeah. So my genius roommate said, "Well, let's just go rent movies and keep them." And so they rented like 25 movies. Well, turns out that kid still goes to the school. So then he shows up at the
His
kid's room, and then of course those kids are such chickens that they send him to my room. It's a good thing I wasn't there because then I'm sure it was a hockey player, and I was jacked, and I wouldn't have taken crap from some little punk hockey player. And he would have knocked my block off. I'm sure I would have gotten my head knocked off, my teeth knocked out. But my little other roommate was there, and of course he blamed it on me. So it just kept going down the line, and then they just took all the movies back, and he paid his late fees and all that. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what other movies I had.
We have some suggestions here in the chat if you want to hear. We have Ghostbusters.
No.
Back to the Future.
No.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yes.
Fast and Furious.
No, wait, Gone in 60 Seconds. I don't know that was out yet.
Con Air. I bet that was in there for sure.
Yep. I'm trying to think of what other major movies I had. This would have been right after that, like months after that photo is when I got a DVD player, and so then that was The Matrix, and then that's would have been all the 99, 2000 movies. That was February of 99, and I don't know why I didn't have the DVD player hooked up yet because maybe I developed the photos February of 99. Is that what maybe? Or is it when they're taken?
I think it's when they're taken.
I thought so too, but I would have gotten a DVD player for Christmas in 99.
Well, Christmas 99 would have been later, though. Christmas 98 would have been right before that.
No, yeah, I think maybe it was Christmas of '99, not of '98. I was thinking '98. So yeah, I guess sophomore year I would have had the DVD player then, and then the VHS tapes would have started to be moved out. Gosh, I was trying to think of because I had like 20 or 25 or something.
GoldenEye, Good Will Hunting. Oh, Good Will Hunting. That's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Definitely all the Nicolas Cage movies, though. I definitely had all those.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. When's the next Normie Washington talk coming? You got one scheduled anytime soon?
I would like to do a bunch this weekend if I don't get lazy from working out too much. And try to hit the gym right after this podcast and head out of here and see if I can get to the gym without freaking out on the side of the road.
All right, let's see. Florian is in Germany tuning in. He says, an OG podcast is the best way to end a work week. Greetings from good old Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Florian. That's
cool.
awesome. All right, let's see. When Greg Hansel asked on Instagram, when setting up your garage speakers, do you have a specific location and angle that you use for placement? Also, what's your go-to song when you're dialing in the sound?
I don't really have the answer to either one of those. It just depends. I want the speakers at ear level rather than up high, if I can help it. But there's so many different systems. Oh, cool. My rowers showed up at the gym. Nice. I was at the gym. And what happens at the gym all the time is that the dumbest, slowest people who are least coordinated are the ones, this is with every sport, are the ones that demand position. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. They always get there and they put their drink down while all the good people are like hanging out, like, or getting ready or warming up, and the good people are usually nice, because that's like, nice people are usually better at life. And so these people like rush into the gym. Now, the gym is using my EV speakers, donate things all the time. I'm always contributing. And the nice people are the ones that get screwed. And so then we get stuck on the ski erg or stuck doing something else that sucks.
There's not enough rowers.
Because the dum-dums need to have the exact, and then we're doing push press and it calls for 185 and they're doing like 50. You know, there you have the trainer bar with, why would we even put 2 5s on it? It's just a waste of time. The trainer bar with 2 5s, and we're doing, you know, John and I are doing, you know, 150-pound sandbag over the shoulders, and they're doing like a 20-pound ball, and yet they've got to have the best bike and rower, and they probably have a discount too to go there. And so I get there, and same thing happens, and I'm on the spot. I'm like, I'm done with this. So I bought 2 rowers on the spot, shipped to the gym, and I told Michelle I'm putting my name on it. And the millisecond that if anybody in the gym can use it, as long as I'm not there. If I'm there, and it's a rowing workout, get off my freaking rower. We're gonna put a gold plaque.
Yeah, a little plaque on
it says
there.
Matt Mormon's rower. Free to use, except for when Matt Mormon's here. And on my picture, I'm going to put my picture on it. It's so freaking stupid. It was the same thing in every sport I've ever played when you play co-ed. It's always the girls, right? They like in volleyball, I'm an outside hitter. And outside hitters get set the most generally because it's the easiest set to make. And so we'd be playing open gym, and you'd always have these dumb, horrible girls who would want to play outside. And then I'd have to go play middle, which is the position when you're playing open gym. No one can set the middle. You know, you usually have some janky setter who can't set really well. So at least when you're playing outside, you got a chance to get set. And then the dumb girl gets set every time, hits it in the bottom of the net, or misses the ball. And they, oh man, I've gotten in so many fights when I was younger. I would just say, get out of here. No. One girl just cried and walked out of the gym. It was just so freaking stupid. So that's my current frustration is that, and these people they never get any better. You know, the CrossFit doesn't work unless you try like as hard as you possibly can. Doesn't mean you have to be great at it. You'll get better at it. But people in general, they just go through them. They think that if they show up, like if you do a 9-minute workout, it's designed to be like you're falling out by the end of it. So if you just mosey through it with some little weight that you just, you know, using a 30-pound ball and it calls for 130. Yeah, I mean, I can understand scaling it to like 75 or 100. But if you're doing 30, You're not even breathing. It's like, and then people, they go home, they're like, yeah, I got a workout in it. And then, of course, they're posting it all over Instagram and telling all their friends about it. And then I just want to comment, you suck. You're the worst person. Everybody's laughing at you here. Or you're demanding the rower that you don't even know how to use. It's stupid. Gosh. So now I have my own bar. I brought my own speakers. I have my own bands. I have my own ab mat. I have my own jump rope, of course. And now I'm going to have my own rower, my own bike. The bike, I wanted to order a bike, but they weren't available. And I'm only doing that so that I don't have to pick a fight. And by doing that, I'll end up having to pick a fight because someone will demand my rower.
Yep.
What do you mean? What do you mean you get the rower? I freaking bought it, lady. Get off of it. You're not even going to do it right anyway. You get no prayer. You're always going to be 800 pounds. Get out of here. What are you even doing here? Should be at Planet Fitness.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to come drop in and use your rower. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, as long as I'm not there, you can use it up.
All right. Back to the VHS suggestions here. Rambo? Did you have the Rambo series? Roadhouse?
I think I had the Godfather series.
Cocktail?
It's hard for me to remember because I became such DVD heavy. I just don't remember exactly what VHS tapes I had.
Did you have any that were like 2 VHS tapes that were like super long? Titanic? No. You had Titanic, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely had Titanic. Yeah, that's a good one. I definitely had that.
What else was
I had Meet Joe Black, I think. Or would that have been DVD? And I think that was VHS.
I don't remember.
It was like chick flicks or Nicolas Cage, like that kind of
cheesy action movie.
It's not really cheesy though. Those movies are great.
What about Under Siege?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Under Siege, and what was the other? What was the first Steven Seagal movie? Out for Justice or Out for?
Yeah, that sounds right. Steven Seagal.
Under Siege, and then there was another one. I'm sure someone.
Under Siege 2, Dark Territory.
No.
Good stuff. All right, yep. People are enjoying your gym rant. That's good.
Is it true? It's totally true. Now you wouldn't know this if you suck at everything, but if you're kind of good, like if you're above average, which I tend to be at most things. Otherwise, I'm not gonna, like if I suck at it, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going. I don't want to be a part of it. And so it's one of those things that's just the way life is. And the more I learn, the more I'm starting to realize, man, those people are actually they have a superpower of not giving an F about what anybody thinks. They're going to get what they want. They're going to drive at whatever speed they want to drive. They're going to left lane drive it, and they don't care. Or I'm worried about everything. So there's something to be said about that.
All right. Ask him about fighting for pull-up bars when everyone is using a band.
Yeah, that's a frickin' worst. Get out of here. They got to get their position. And there's like one pull-up bar that's tall enough for us, right? There's like one in the whole gym. Otherwise, your feet smack the ground. And yet, some fatty with 2 giant black bands, one on each foot. The big, heavy, like the black band is they're color coded. The blue one is the red is the thinnest, and then the blue, then the green, and the purple is a real thick band, real heavy band, and then the black one is for like lifting heifers. It's like lifting monster trucks, and you'll have the girl with 2 of them. Nothing's better though when the thing slaps off and smacks them in the face or goes right up in their crotch. Oh, it's so fun. Love watching that.
And they have to use a box to climb up to get to the pull-up bar.
I understand a girl. Girls, it's harder to do. It's darn impossible to do pull-ups. But then dudes, if you're a dude and you're just trying to get in the way and you're using a band, get out of here. Everybody listen to this podcast. If you can't do a pull-up, start working on it. You got to be able to do one. Just one. If you can't do one pull-up, it's just not good.
All right, more VHS suggestions here. Terminator 2?
I think so, yeah.
Goodfellas?
No.
Cannonball Run. Ooh, that's a good one.
No, that movie sucks. I hate that movie.
Really? Exit Wounds? That sounds like one you'd have. I feel like Tupac was in that. Or was it somebody else?
That would have been DVD, I think.
Marked for Death?
That's the original. Marked for Death, I think, is the original Steven Seagal. Yeah,
Above the Law?
That one I didn't have on a VHS, but yeah, that would have been in the wish list.
All right, let me get you another somewhat related to us question from Patrick Riley, because our friend Scott Ailes, I saw him in the chat here. So Patrick on Facebook said, any update on the dry ice solution?
Yeah, so we great news. Scott brought it by, the little Evo it's called, from ICS. It has a little 5-pound tank, and he brought us some ice to play with, and so we shot a video just our normal vlog style stream of consciousness, me asking him all kinds of questions and him selling me and me, being me, saying, denial or denying all of that and asking for everything that we can't have. And the thing we expected to just give us little spurts with my 1011 CFM compressor, and that thing freaking fired away all day. We were cranking away, messing with ice all day. She can hold the thing down for minutes, and it's able to power it. So the great news is that most people that have a decent size, a 3+ horsepower compressor, are going to be able to use this without even having to upgrade the compressor. Or we were thinking the package would be around 20-25 grand because you would need all this extra stuff. You could run it with a regular refrigerated dryer, and you could spend less than $5,000 on an air compressor and run this thing no problem. Now the unit costs 10 grand, so that's the expensive part. It's made in Slovakia, but I want one in my garage and at my house, and we'll probably just have a regular delivery of dry ice to the garage. It costs 40 cents a pound, and then I'll just take some home in like a cooler if I needed to. It's freaking amazing. It's so cool. It's not the same thing as what you saw us do to the E36. It's not going to do that. Like, no matter how much time you have, it's not going to work the same.
It's more for small stuff.
Yeah, plastics, engine bays, doing waterless washes. I'm going to show people how to do that. It's more for that kind of stuff. But it's freaking amazing. Scott's already sold 24 of them or something crazy like that. Or 22 are coming in and 24 are sold, and we're going to get about 40 a month, starting in I think August, July, August, September. So 40 of them are going to come, and so I think we're going to be sold out for quite some time. It's even better than I thought. It's like the size of like a canister vacuum, and it's way lighter than that. And there's no power, so there's no plug-in, just air. And we're going to be selling packages with compressors and the whole thing. It's freaking awesome.
So the video on that was filmed yesterday and coming probably next week.
So imagine this. Imagine you're in Calgary, Heartland, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine you're Calgary. I think it's still snowing there now. In the middle of June, it's still snowing, it seems. I see Rick up there showing snow all the time in the middle of the summer, it seems. But imagine you're in Calgary and you go out and you have your Macan S or whatever, or your other car on stilts. It's 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and you get salt and cinders and dirt all over it. And let's say it's like 3 degrees Celsius, whatever that is, 36 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that, right? So let's say it's too cold to go out and get the hose out or the pressure washer and wash the car, but it's really too dirty to really want to wash in the garage. And so you leave your snowsuit on, in your fingy-less mittens, and you just open up the garage door, you pull out the hose, throw in a few pounds of dry ice that you have on tap, and you just blow off with dry ice. You blow off all the funk, all the cinders and all that crap, and then you drive the car in, and then you do a quick little detail spray, rinseless wash wipe down, and you've got yourself a freaking clean car in the middle of the winter. That's how I envision it being really, really awesome. But it can cost you 15 grand to set it all up. So it's not for everybody. It is for everybody, but not everybody's going to be able to swing it. And I think the costs will come down on them as time goes on, but right now they're a pretty sophisticated piece of machinery.
All right, we have a super chat here from TJ McBride, $10 American. Matt, just wanted to show my appreciation for everything I've learned from your videos as well as Inside the Hex over the years. Keep up the great work.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, TJ. Let's see. Matt's favorite is The Breakfast Club. Did you have that one on VHS?
I did not. No. Yeah. Dang it! I don't know why I can't remember this. I always remember these things of exactly what I had.
All right. Let's see. Eric, our friend Eric down in South Florida on Facebook says, "Hey Matt and Chris, Matt, what would have been your second choice for GT4 color?"
White, definitely white. I think GT4 is best in white.
Easy enough.
Yep.
All right. Jeremy says, "Hey Matt, you previously discussed that you would like to see semi-permanent tire dressings, similar to that of ceramic coatings that you would use on paint. Have you tested or considered Adams Polish's tire armor? If so, what are your thoughts?"
No, I don't. I think the chances of them getting anything right from here on out is pretty slim. They just have to. They're big time. You know, they're selling to everybody. And everybody doesn't care about that kind of stuff. It's just not in their wheelhouse anymore. So the chances of them doing that and having it being really great is pretty slim. Now CarPro has something that's interesting. I think we asked Corey to send us some when he has some, but I just don't know how practical that is. It's rubber like leaches or whatever, or, you know, as it matures. So I don't know if it's really practical.
All right. Top Gun. You had to have Top Gun, right? VHS?
Probably.
Vanishing Point?
No.
How about Van Damme? Did you have Double Team?
No.
Or any Van Damme movies?
No.
Man. American Werewolf in London?
No.
Something About Mary? Man, they're really going through them now, which is good.
No.
The Goonies. How about The Goonies?
No.
Oh, wow.
I don't think so. I only had there's only 15 there, so it's, you know.
Something About Mary?
Mm-mm.
No comedy? Last Mohicans is a great movie.
I think maybe I had that.
All right, let's see.
I think I had Tombstone.
I still have that on VHS, actually.
Why would you still
and
have
DVD.
that? Do you even have a VHS player?
Yeah, we got one because Caroline got a bunch of the Disney VHS movies.
Oh. Yeah, but when they came out with Disney Plus, you should just eliminate that. And when she hit the age of 12, 6 years ago, you've been good to go. Oh,
Smokey and the Bandit. There you go.
No.
Yes, told nice to him. Let's see. We have a good question.
The movie, but I didn't have it.
Didn't have it.
No.
Steven on Facebook. "Hey, Matt and Chris. I've been using Beadmaker as a drying agent on my cars. Love the gloss and slickness. However, I find that for me it attracts dust like crazy, even for my garage cab vehicles. P&S suggest a coat of their paint gloss on top of Beadmaker will help reduce dusting. That's just another step added to the process. Do you find the same issues with Beadmaker? And do you have another product to recommend that has a gloss and slickness without the dust?"
No, I don't have a suggestion. No, I'm not interested in putting another step in the process, because then I've introduced potential to scratch more. And yes, we have a solution, and we're going to have it real soon.
We're working on that.
Yeah, it's it's freaking Slipstream from B&B, which a lot of other companies have taken on and rebranded it and pretended like they mixed it up in their bathtub. And so we're going to do it, and it's freaking great. And I'm doing it with no scent and no color. So there's no, because anytime you do scent and color, there's a byproduct to that, usually a negative byproduct. And so I don't want that. It dyes your bottles or leaves spots in the car, and so this stuff is just clear and doesn't really have an odor and just works great. We're not frickin' babies. I mean, maybe some people in the comments. I mean, I know we all love to say this smells great, but that smell is bullcrap. They just made it up. They've added a scent. And sometimes that scent over time is like you notice with Beadmaker, a lot of what you're seeing with that film that shows up in the bottle is the color. It's the color in the scent. It's causing that. And, and technically that scent is probably not a good thing to smell. So I'm going to do the opposite and yank the scent out. I might even do that to the tire dressing.
Mm-hmm. What if they could have it smell like GSF?
Well, GSF has cherry scented to it. So, I mean, that's fun, but the more I think about it, the less I need that. That's going to be like the anti-marketing. It's like we're the only ones that do it. Or you say, screw it. We're not doing it. Turtle Wax kind of does it. They don't even put it in a clear bottle. Scent is not. You'd think that they would be all about scent because they're selling junk anyway. Oh no, Matt, you haven't given them a chance. Well, they don't deserve a chance when they actually contribute to the community to contribute to, detailing, then I might be interested. If they hire some people that actually know what they're doing, I'm down.
All right, a couple more movies, and we'll jump back to questions here. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That didn't seem like
I don't think I had that, but certainly would have watched that movie.
Pulp Fiction.
No.
Heat. No.
Maybe.
Scarface.
Yeah, I think I had that.
All right, let's see. Back to a question here from 260GT on Instagram. Do you have a game plan for the E36 M3 cooling system?
Yeah, we have the whole cooling system already all spec'd out. The various OEM parts, and we're doing the crap. What's the company? Starts with a Z. God dang it! It'll come to me. The standard company that does the E36 cooling. It's
They'll tell us here in the chat.
And I'm waiting on the rack doctor racks. I'm waiting for the front rack to come, and then then we can do the power steering, cooling, intake, headlights. But right now it's off to paint. It's getting painted.
All right, Paul Shepard in the chat says, "Hey Matt, received the quick disconnect package for the foam bottle. It's totally unnecessary yet totally awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna light some more money on fire and buy the funnel."
I love it. Yeah, that's smart.
Paul. All right, let's see here from ATMod060. In last week's podcast, you mentioned that if you detailed full time, that you would want to offer all the popular coatings. What would you do if you were being pressured by the companies to be exclusive to their brand, and if you didn't, they wouldn't allow you to be an authorized installer?
I would put on my persuasive, hat, and I would ask for to be given permission. I'd ask to be something different. I'd figure out a way to convince him. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm on the phone with audio control for hours. He's like, "Well, I'm really intrigued, but we have an exclusive. Like all of our dealers signed an agreement to say we're not going to sell online." I said, "Well, I'm not really selling online. I'm selling through my, visits into people's living room via YouTube. It's different than selling online. Selling online is you take a stock image or you snap a few photos on a white background, and you steal the description from the main website, and you hope to throw paint against the wall. And you just put as many products on there as you can, and then you hire some company to spend as much money, or hire some company where you spend as much money as possible to get as much traffic to that, get ranked as highly at Google as possible. That's traditional online. And then you, of course, to get more attention, you have your price cheaper. You knock the price down, and it's a race to zero. I'm not doing that. First of all, I don't even want all your products, just want a few of them. And so I think you just have to pitch them on your business plan, and you have to be willing to be told no. And then what you'll be able to do is if you can convince 3 out of 6 of them to say yes, guess what? You'll be able to use Zionsville. Thank you. That's the cooling system. So the simple thing to do then is then the leverage that the 3 of them let you do it, and you say, "Don't you want to be a part of this?" And you have to think of it from their perspective, and they're all stuck in this same rudimentary idea that we're going to have territories, and then that we're going to try to get a bigger territory than the next, and we're going to provide a better service to the detailer, and they're just selling to detailers, which is the stupidest business model ever. Like when I'm going to get in real trouble with the dry ice thing, and Scott keeps thinking about this from a professional perspective. We can sell this to professionals. Detailers specifically, I said, I don't give a crap about detailers. I don't want to sell it to them. They don't have money to buy this machine. And if they do, they're a business owner. They're not a detailer. And they've got people that work for them and all of that stuff. And so I don't want that. Yes, we'll provide a solution. Yes, detailers can buy it. But why are we selling only to one very specific audience that generally lives day to day? Lives on cash, and how they don't have a lot of money extra to buy, lots of coding. So why would you restrict it to that? I know why, but why do they all do the exact same thing? And so I would try to pander to the fact that they don't understand that, and that you're different, and you're going to have to somehow get on their side of the table in order to convince them to allow you to carry every coating.
All right, we have lots of positive comments here in the chat for paint gloss. Does seem to help rather quick. Same towel, go over it really quick, etc., etc. Paint gloss is pretty cool, works well, blah, blah. So,
yeah, it's dumb. I don't like that. That's the main reason why. I like Bead Maker a lot. I think it's great. But I've been washing outside in my, in the wind, and it doesn't work as well. So now what all you guys have been telling me all these years, I didn't hear because I'm washing and drying in the air conditioning or in the covered area, and now I'm seeing what people are complaining about. Because I keep getting spots and streaks, and I don't like that.
Welcome to the normie life.
Yeah.
One step at a time. Super chat from DG, $5. Put me down for one of the first bottles of our unscented clear stuff. Thanks. Please have Jeff sign. All right. How about Jaws? Did you have Jaws?
No.
Pearl Harbor?
Probably. I think
Space
so.
Jam?
No.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure? It doesn't seem like one you have. More Jello, please, says, regarding your Ubiquiti, what new Wi-Fi setup did Matt end up going with to replace his Unify setup?
I did Orbi Pro. Don't do Orbi Pro. Just do Orbi. I should have I might even just swap it out for the Orbi when this thing crashes. It's just so much easier. And everything's connected as that can be with a wire, so that's good. But it's working great now. It's just the app doesn't work. So the Netgear app doesn't recognize the Orbi. And so if I ever have to fix anything, I've got to log into like the fancy back-end site through 192.68.1.1 or something like that. And then I'll forget that, and then I won't be able to find the bookmark or any of that.
From Jimmy here in the chat. Back to the QD for the foam cannon. A while back, you said there may be revisions to make it smaller. Is there any progress on that yet?
No. Yeah, that's a long ways off. We need a new bottle for that.
All right, Douglas has a question that came up, I think, last week. What indoor car cover would you recommend?
Cover King Satin Stretch.
We have a super chat here from Jeremy, $4.99. Have you thought about detailing your HOA's vehicles? I'm sure they would cut you a break if you graphene coated their cars.
I'm not freaking washing anybody else's cars. Get out of here, especially them. I've got it turned around, though. I screwed up. I should have just gone there and gotten approval, and then they wouldn't be able to say anything. You just submit the application. That's all they're looking for. They want to make sure you're compliant. The funny thing is a bunch of Republicans acting like socialists. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's a bunch of Trumpers acting like a bunch of socialists. They're so stupid. They're so dumb. Just take one look at my house and my cars, and look at me in the eyes, and you can tell who's a dirtball and who's not. Who's going to make it stupid? Who's going to make it good? I can tell in 1 second, who's going to put a bull, statue of a bull outside of their house, and want to paint it canary yellow. I can tell. You can tell. You can just look at them in the eyes. Look them. Give them one up down. Take a look at their car. If they've got some stuffed animals in their back, the back whatever area, and they've got a CD that's flipping around from the the rearview mirror, and they've got a box of tissues. If somebody's got a box of tissues, then you got to really police them. Do you have a box of tissues in your truck?
No.
You just have Arby's napkins in your.
My 1984 Arby's napkin's still in there.
Oh, gosh.
Let's see. Aiden, can you suggest an OG grade floor jack?
I haven't chased that yet. Floor jacks are tough. There's got to be one, though. I'm sure someone will know. But, yeah, I need to get one.
8mm. Did you have that one? Nick Cage movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
10 Things I Hate About You?
I'm pretty sure, yep.
So, yeah, there's two very specific groups there.
Yeah.
All right, we have two super chats back to back here. Geo, $20. Hey, Matt, give us one rant topic for today. No, it's your job, Geo. You got to give us.
Yeah, I can't. They don't come to me. It's like an out of body experience.
Lord of Aviation, $5. Got a good alternative for the Continental and Cobra Jet hoses. One and active. My son Joe crapped out. Don't want to wait until July and beyond.
Well, we just got gray in.
You can get the active now. We have those. It's the rest of the stuff that's an issue. So if you just need a pressure washer, grab an active. They're in the store. They're
and you can use the crap that comes with it to hold you over, and then you can place the order separately for the other. Cost you a couple of bucks extra, in shipping, but yeah, if you want to make sure you don't get hung up. But I think for pretty much anything in the world at the moment, we're one of the few places that are saying, hey, we don't have it, but here's a path to get it. And which means that path is you give me your money and I hold on to it until it comes in, and then we get picked, nail down your place in line, and then you get it immediately.
As soon as we do.
Yep. Immediately.
EC has a good suggestion. Face Off. I bet you had Face Off.
Yeah, but that's the first one I said. Okay. Yeah, Face Off.
7?
No.
When Harry Met Sally.
No.
Good try. Christmas Vacation.
Nope.
It's a classic. All right, let's see. Reasonable Paul on Instagram wants to know, what's your take on Martin Logan speakers, specifically the folded tweeter? How does Dyne Audio compare to those as far as reproduction of high frequencies?
So Martin Logan, for whatever reason, probably what really did it for them was their deal with Best Buy in the sort of mid 2000s, like 2005, 6, 7. Martin Logan was exclusive to certain high-end dealers, and then they took on a tweeter and came to tweeter in the early 2000s, and then branched into Best Buy, into their Magnolia place, and they just became a really big speaker line, of sort of a household name. Kind of reminds me of where Krensla seems to be headed, as kind of a high-end but household name. Now remember, Martin Logan's specialty is electrostats, electrostatic membrane, which you pass current across and it vibrates at a certain frequency, and then that causes your mid-bass. Actually, an electrostat can be full range, if you have the right amount of power. But the electrostat speaker has a very specific sound signature. They look really cool. Their cheap line is not very good, which doesn't use an electrostat. It uses that folded ribbon tweeter thingy. Those don't sound very good, I don't think. I've heard them. I don't think they sound very good. But you see, like the red one there is like their giant. Those are like 100,000 a pair, 60,000 a pair. Or they have a hybrid. The electrostat panel takes care of the mid and highs, and then the woofer is down in the bottom, which is usually powered separately because the electrostat needs as much power as it can get. So Martin Logan is not really great for music, not really great for movies, but it can do both of them pretty well. Really, Martin Logan, I just think looks great. If you have like a really modern decor in your house, I think they look really, really nice. But never my first choice of speaker. I sold them for 3 or 4 years, something like that. So I'm pretty well versed in them. But there's a pair of speakers that are $15,000 for the pair which are those ESL 13s. They're cool. They're nice speakers, but I'd always choose a traditional driver. Sonus Faber, Vienna Acoustics, Dyne Audio, even B&W and the higher end instances over something that's not gimmicky, but that's very, very different than others.
All right, let's see here. Oh, we got another super chat. It's Scott Ailes, $50. Oh brother, where art thou? Did you have that one on VHS?
No, come on, that's a little too old, Scott. Come on.
Did you have the soundtrack? It's a great soundtrack.
I've never even seen that movie. Is that like a Mel Brooks movie?
No, well, it might be, but it's got George Clooney and I'm a Man of Constant Sorrow.
I have no idea what that. No.
I'll show you the poster.
I hate that Mel Brooks crap. Spaceballs and.
Oh no, not quite like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We have any tips for buying a new home as a small business owner from Intense Industries.
This is where it gets tricky. I mean, you want to show as little income as possible, but if you don't show income, then you can't get loans. You can't get it, or it's harder to anyway. You just have to provide your income tax returns. But I think you want to pay yourself a salary as soon as possible. That way, and I think you want to reach the limits of the Social Security numbers. So I probably need to raise my salary a bit. You don't want to pay your SSI or your FICA tax, but you also you also want to get the benefits at some point in the future when you get there. So you want to pay yourself a salary that will help. And I found that, when I was buying a $2 million house, even just my salary was enough to cover it, just based on debt to income. My salary isn't all that much at all. So then you can use your shareholder distribution. Like if you're an LLC or an S corp, you're just passing through the income anyway. So let's say you paid yourself a salary of $50,000 and you made another 100 net, of all your expenses. So your adjusted gross income is then 150 grand. You could then show your mortgage, whatever person, that this is this is here's my salary that I pay myself, but here's been my track record of income by showing your personal tax returns. And they're going to ask for your business tax returns as well, but personal, just on any normal, unless you have a C corporation, a really large corporation, then your income's going to pass through to your personal income tax return. They'll be able to see it all in one spot. But that's really all you can do. And to get loans, buy cars with a loan, have a bunch of credit cards. I mean, if you don't use credit, it's harder to get it. So sometimes I pay for the cars I get. Sometimes I get a loan. I'm doing solar, and I don't have a mortgage anymore, so I figured rather than pay for the solar, they're offering 0.99% APR. Let's just get a loan, pay it over 60 months. So it just depends on the situation, but you just got to use credit in order to get credit. Make sure you're using credit cards for everything. Never buy anything with a debit card, ever. Never, ever, ever. So any of you that are using your debit card, cut it in half. I haven't bought anything on a debit card not one time ever in my life. Have I ever bought anything with a debit card? And I understand the principle. We're going to buy it on the debit card. That way I'll never be buying on time. I'll never be get running up debt. Well, if you just get your head right, use the credit card for what it is. I take that back. I used to use, back when Merrill Lynch, we had a Visa signature card. When I first started at Merrill Lynch, if you used a debit card, you got points. And you got more points using the debit than you did credit. Until they realized they're losing money, because when the spreads disappeared on cash, when interest rates fell to 2s and 3s, and they've been there ever since, there's no, banks don't make as much money as they did in the past. So stop using your debit card. Never ever use it unless you're going to use it for ATM. I don't even have my debit card in my wallet anymore. I don't even use it. Because I could just, if I had to, I'd just go into the bank or go home and get my debit card and get some cash. But how often do you use cash? But stop using your debit card. Use your credit card. It offers you a layer of protection, gives you a myriad of other benefits as well. And if somebody got your number, they aren't cleaning out your account. And even if your bank did back you up, it still might take a while, and you're freaking broke. So that's my advice to you: is use a credit card for everything, and just pay for it.
All right, this is the poster. It's the Coen brothers, as Scott reminded me here in the chat.
Never seen that. That's not that old, though. What year is that? We're talking 99. I don't even know what that movie is.
Come on, give me a year, Google. 2000. There we go.
Okay, see, that would have been after that. That would have been a DVD
Release
movie.
date 2000. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I've never seen that. I've seen most things.
All right, add it to your list.
Yeah.
We have a good question here that'll make you think from C-Mac in the chat. Where'd it go? Okay, on the vintage theme. If Matt had to fill the E36 M3 CD changer with period correct CDs, what would he be picking?
If it was 96, right, so this would be my 96 list. This would be very easy. So 96, I would have been past Green Day and Offspring because those became cool because I made them cool.
Like 92 when you rented them.
Yeah, so 93, 92, 93 is when I was into Green Day, and then when my sister got a Green Day CD, I was so upset, and then that's when I'm done with that. Or the only Green Day I'm going to listen to, it's not going to be the Dookie CD, it'll be the other earlier stuff. So let's see, 96 would have been the transition. So I would have had Junior Mafia, Minor Threat, Operation Ivy, Red Man. How many is that? That's 4. Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, of course.
5.
I started listening to that in like 94 probably. I think it
But
came
you'd
out
still
in
have
92,
that
93.
96. You'd keep that for.
Oh, yeah. And then, let's see, I was 16. I would still have had a NoFX CD in there as well. So, yeah. Or,
There you go.
Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Good question.
But there was that
man.
transition. 96 was like that transition year from... And people make all these Eminem references. Eminem wasn't a thing until like 2000, 99, 2000. So I look like that. I am the reason why Eminem took on that look.
Let's see. Super chat here from Christopher Baker, $4.99. Whatever happened to doing TJ Hunt shop? Any updates?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked to him a little bit. He's still... they're getting their house put together, so they haven't started their garage yet.
All right, my excuse me, WRX channel, $5 super chat. What does Matt think about burble tunes?
Oh my gosh, he's trying to
Like
bait
this?
me here, isn't he? Could you imagine? This is the stupidest thing. Imagine that you took a Corvette, one of the best sounding cars on the planet. It's the only redeeming quality of a Corvette. Everything else about it sucks, with the exception of what it sounds like. It sounds freaking great. And you would take that and you would dump some extra fuel into the exhaust on purpose and make it sound stupid. That's the dumbest thing ever. So don't do that. Stop that nonsense. The beautiful thing is now, like at an F80 M3, you can get equal length exhaust and equal length mid pipe, and you can tune all that garbage out. It's fantastic.
So there you have it. Super chat here from Geo again, $20. Tesla Powerwalls with the solar?
Yeah, so I'm doing a 16.5 kilowatt solar system, so it'll be 3 sections of my roof facing south and east, I believe. And then 4 power walls. I was going to do a generator, and so solar's certainly not going to pay for itself. It might in 30 years, but what are the chances of me being in this house in 30 months, let alone 30 years? So I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it for the fun of it. It'll add a little value to the house. And I was going to do a generator, which you have to bury another. I'd have to bury another tank and see if I can have 2 gas tanks on my property, which I probably wouldn't have been able to. And so then the other problem is every time you need gas, you can't get it because then everybody else is trying to get it at the same time. And then it's loud and noisy and all that stuff. And on this little house, this little property, the thing's going to be right there on the side of my house, vibrating the whole foundation. So instead, I'm going to do solar. And the power walls, I got some more work to figure out, depending on your municipality and whether you can go net zero or net negative, where you send your power back to them. And then when the power goes out, I don't think you can push power back to them, or you can't charge your power walls. And I'm not sure how it works, but the idea is that I would have 4 to 5 days of full functionality with 4 power walls on the size house that I have. So that's the plan.
And we have some other CD suggestions that you might have overlooked. Where did it go? Tool? Did you have a Tool?
Not then, no.
Limp Bizkit?
No, definitely not. Limp Bizkit was 99. Yeah, these are 2000.
Wu-Tang, yeah, you mentioned Wu-Tang. What folks are asking, what would you recommend for a credit card? Is there one that's your go-to? Amex
I think the
Platinum,
Apple Card is great.
Card.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an Apple user, I would absolutely get an Apple Card. Start with that. I think I wouldn't get all, a lot of the guys that watch me tend to be pretty anal, and I'm just not really that way, or I don't really care much about points. Like for the longest time, I had a Merrill Lynch card because I worked for Merrill Lynch, and there were some benefits to that. But I think you get eventually, then you graduate to an Amex. Like I don't think I have my wallet. I don't have it on me, but I have a Apple Card personally. I have a Merrill Lynch card still that I've had for 20 years now. I have a personal Amex Delta, which I never used, and an Amex Platinum. So I need to get rid of that Delta one. So I have 4 personal cards, and Michelle's on all of those. And then I have an old Raymond James. It was the first corporate card I got. I still have. And I should just close that closed that thing and just left it open because it has like $25,000 limit. It was always like the backup plan. I have a Amex Platinum for the business as well, which we do about 50% on charges because those douchebags came to me, made us change all of our stuff, or talked us into moving all of our purchases over to Amex, and then literally like a month later, they gave us a spending limit. Freaking idiots. I'm like, I didn't think an Amex had a limit. That's the whole point. I said, well, it was right at the beginning that the pandemic was coming. They're freaking out. And so they pulled back the reins, and so we have like a $250,000 spending limit or something stupid like that. So we have to go and pay it off multiple times. So we moved a lot of our purchase back to, I have Chase Inc. business card, and so I guess we have 4 cards for the business too. So I have eight cards in total, which I think is appropriate for. 8 cards would be too many if you're making $50,000, you didn't have a business. You might want 2 or 3. But I think having cards is a good thing, as long as you're not a freaking idiot. But absolutely do not have a balance on a credit card. I think maybe I carried a balance once or twice in my life for a really short period of time. So don't carry a balance on that stuff. Get a home equity line or something else if you're going to run up debt. I think debt should be car loans, home loans, real estate loans. Otherwise, you really should try to avoid debt. Or if you had some special loan, like with the solar that I'm doing, something like that, or you have favorable rates. But absolutely no credit card debt. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. And so don't use the excuse of I'm going to have a debit card and pay for everything debit card. It's just a dumb move. Someday that's going to work out real badly for you when someone cleans out your account. Use credit card gives you a whole bunch of protection and helps you build credit. It's just common sense.
All right, common question here. And Henry even says, I know you've said it a bunch, but I don't remember. What kind of shorts does Matt wear?
Yeah, 511 tactical. They don't make them anymore. They're going to find something new. I'm going to start on the search of buying a bunch of new stuff because most of mine are stained from getting grease all over them, or they're all ripped up from doing something stupid. So I need to find something new. I'm going to start buying a bunch of shorts.
Bert says he sees Matt as a Rage Against the Machine and System of a Down kind of guy.
Yeah, later on. Yeah, that would have been like 2002 after 2001 when I realized that I'm the whitest guy in history. Why am I listening to Tupac all day? This is before rap had sort of transcended, right? It didn't transcend until mid 2000s, and then I didn't like it anymore because everybody else liked it. But yeah, at some point that would have been like 2001 is when I started to transition into rock again, Linkin Park. And then I started listening to the old stuff that I hated. See, where I grew up, we had the Skater crew, and then you had the Deadhead crew, and the Deadheads loved Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and the Grateful Dead, and they were doing drugs and doing all kinds of weird crap. And then you had the Skater kids, of which a group of us were straight edge, right? Mm-hmm. So we loved Minor Threat, No Effects, and all that stuff. And then you had the crossover. You had the Skater kids that were drinking OE 40s, carrying 40s around in a brown paper bag, and they would cross over sometimes with the Deadhead people, but the straight edge kids would never cross over. But see, I was a weird hybrid because I was the only Skater kid who would be in honors and AP classes. In fact, one day, we'd have our little huddle. You have your little buddies that you'd go to start school with. We'd be, ollying and skating around and getting in trouble, trying to use our boards because we would take our boards and go riding after school. And then one day, one kid said, how come you're not in any of my classes? I had avoided it for so many years. Said, yeah, I don't know. It was just bad luck. So that was our deal. And that wasn't everybody. That was just the groups that we encountered. And there was always the war between the Deadheads and the Skaters.
Let's see. Obsessed Garage here in the chat. Bryce or Mike, I don't know who that is. Something really interesting went live in the store today.
Yeah.
I went and looked at the new products page, and It's not popping up there, so
Hmm.
I'm out of the loop here. But maybe it'll pop up soon.
I don't see anything.
They'll chime in with more to say there. Andrew wants to know: do you have the MX Black?
No. I don't think I would do it. Even I mean, I'm sure we'll be offered it at some point. I don't think I'd do it. I mean, you have to spend a lot of money, which we do through the business, just buying inventory. It just makes sense. But I think it's not really published, but I think it's something like a $10,000 initiation fee and like $3,500 to $5,000 a year. And I'm not like a concierge type of guy, and so a lot of the benefits you'd get from that, I'm not really going to get. I can't tell you who am I showing my credit card to, So especially now everything is, you're paying, via PayPal or on your phone, or, I'm using Dashlane to just pull up my card number. So I don't think I would get one even if they offered it to me. All the trash I talk about them now, about them screwing me over, I don't think I'm interested.
All right, let's see here. Jeremy Hudson, Super Chat, $4.99. Since we're on the topic of fashion, did you ever purchase a cowboy hat and practice on the hat tip?
No, the old, gosh, I want to do that. No.
Need to get on that project. All right, have a question here from Tascon on Instagram. Can you elaborate a bit on the experience of moving the AC air handler to the attic? Did you have to condition that space, or you just left it a bit exposed to the outside humidity like every other attic in Florida? Thanks for your response.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can put your air handler in a hot area in the attic that is just traditionally insulated. So you really don't need to do anything with that. But mine is insulated. In fact, I need to call them. They're supposed to put some ducts into the attic because my attic is sealed off. So I need them to condition that space a little bit. So in fact, I need to get them to come out and do that. So yeah, you would want to, in a perfect world, you'd have a sealed attic that's conditioned because it needs to be in the house. It needs to be part of the house. And or you need to have a vented attic. It's one or the other. So the attic's either outside or it's inside. It's not halfway. And so since mine is technically inside, it needs to be conditioned to manage humidity up there for the long term.
All right, I found the fancy new products here.
Oh yeah,
there they are. So it's under the plastic sprayers and bottles. Excuse me.
So I don't know when we'll put the video up. You'll have to watch the video, but we have Marilex sprayers in the store. Me throwing the IK sprayer into the woods, and trying the Pressols. I'm a Pressol junkie, but their sprayers aren't any good. And I don't even like sprayers. And so Samit reached out to me, who is Luxury Microfiber, and that's his company where he sells them from. We've been friends for several years. Sort of acquaintances. He watches the video. He might even be watching the podcast. But I'm going to have him on here soon to tell the story. But he, he's been adamant. Most people in other areas, especially professionals, use pump sprayers. I just don't like them because I don't wash cars that much, and I love the experience of a great hand sprayer. And so I've been torn on, is a pump sprayer is even something I want? And if it is something I want, then it has to work. And so the Marilex stuff is up in the store. We have it in stock, and we'll tell the story why in the video, explain it, and then we'll have some videos demonstrating them and showing them how they work, and you'll be using them in videos when appropriate. But it's something I was torn on because I'm not going to use it 24/7. The main requisite for me is, do I at least want it in my cabinet? Or is it something that I would want if I was... Is it a viable thing? Not just... Because I think Obsessed Garage has transcended a bit more than just what I have in my cabinet. So I'm always torn on that, because that was the original model. But, we sell entry-level pressure washers that fit what would have been in my cabinet. So... Anyway, we have them in the store. We're going to have them available to people, and I think a lot of people, if you're going to buy a pump sprayer, as soon as you touch one, there's no question it's the best one.
All right, Dan agrees with you. He said he loves his Axle foamer. Great product. So there's 3 different ones. Axle Ergo foamer.
Well, the axle is the big one. That's the
Industry
7
master.
liter, right? So there's industrial or industry type, and then there's the master, what they call, which is like the garden type. And the difference is the seals. So the industry, the white ones have a little better Viton seals, so you can run harsher chemicals. The other requisite I had to submit, I said, all right, I'm going to put iron remover in one of the bottles. Can I leave it there forever? He said, well, I've had it in mine for over a year, so it still works. I said, now, sometimes just like any straw can get gummed up, you might have to blow out the straw, but the chemical shouldn't affect the functionality of it. I think he has a pretty decent warranty on them, too. I'm not sure.
All right, we have a long question here from Tim on Facebook. This one got a lot of attention, including Michelle M., who liked and said she wanted to hear this. So
Okay.
Here we go. Hey, Matt. I've been trying to ask this question for a while, but don't know how to word it correctly. How did you learn to decide when it's time to spend some money on things you've been working and wanting, or waiting for versus holding off and saving for something more important for your future or family, whatever important means to you? I'll often see questions asked like this. Someone's worked hard, saved, got a promotion, graduated, making a good living, wanting to spend a lump sum of cash on something, and the responses eventually start to talk about how to be smart with your money and how spending that lump on what you wanted is dumb, instead of trying to answer the person's question or give the advice that's been asked for. Everyone starts talking about how you should invest your money in crypto, open IRAs, to be happier later on, but they never actually give any good advice, nor do they explain some concrete steps to take when you begin this road to way happier, and the poster's questions, desired advice isn't answered. I think what I'm trying to ask is for some insight to your thought process on deciding what's worth it now versus what's worth it later, and how that balance has shifted as you progress through life. Emphasis on your early 20s. So many people are such professionals at spending other people's money. It's a wonder why everyone isn't a multimillionaire.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So I can speak to this quite a bit better now that I have hindsight to an experience to look back on, and why did I make some of the decisions that I made? Why did I take risks in certain instances and then not in others? And I think it comes back to, you ultimately know what the right thing to do is. Your gut tells you that. You don't need a spreadsheet. You don't need some budgeting software. You don't need you don't need you don't need a spreadsheet to tell you that you probably shouldn't have bought that, and and you're going to be up against it on your credit card bill. You really don't need that. And so for me, that pressure of, man, I shouldn't have bought that, or I should have waited to buy that, is just innate. And I think it's innate in everybody. I don't know that, because I don't know how you live and how you feel about things, but I think there's an innate in anyone who's some semblance of intelligence, which is, I would say 50% of people have some semblance of intelligence. You have this innate sort of feeling of what's right and what's wrong. Now, there's certain things you have to set and forget, and like a 401k contribution. And you have to think about this logically. When you can't be so naive. If you're going to be successful, you can't be so naive in that, like for instance, one of the most common misconceptions is that, well, I'm maxing out my 401k, and that means that I'm matching what my employer is putting in. If you're that naive, you're going to be broke for the rest of your life. There's just no way around it. If you don't realize that that's not a thing, that's not the way it works. There's a maximum personal contribution to a 401k, which is $19,500 in 2021. $19,500 is the maximum you can put in per individual. And your employer's not putting that in. I don't care where you're working. They're not doing that. They're doing 3% or 5% of your salary, so a couple grand at the most. In most cases, maybe 10% if you're working for a place that really believes in that. So I think you have to trust your gut. You have to live life, and you have to not compare yourself to anybody else. So when you start comparing, first of all, the vast majority of people that are telling you something, they're not telling you the truth. They're embellishing. They don't really save 25% of their income. If they do, they're probably freaking dorks. Don't do anything fun. if they're going on crazy vacations. So that's one of the things that I luckily never really was interested in, and was going on like a crazy expensive vacation. Like that was the thing. We did some vacations. If we went on a vacation, because Michelle made me, and if Michelle's going on vacation, she's not going the same class that I'm going, right? She's going to go a lot more rationally. And so in the early days, you want to put some money away if you can, but if you can't, whatever. I hate when I see these posts in the group. I've got $3,800 to invest. What should I do with it? Spend $3,800. What are you gonna do with $3,800? Just buy an exhaust for your car or something. I don't know. Put it in your account. So I think that you have to just trust your gut, and then you have to base your decisions on your history. Have you historically made stupid and gone too far and gotten yourself into trouble, which I never have? So my gut has led me down the right path. Like, I talk to Chris all the time. Like, we just made a major hire. It's going to be very expensive. And I asked them to, I generally don't make mistakes on these things. I'm trusting my gut here. I'm spending more than I should, but this is a gut decision that's going to benefit the organization and benefit me, benefit everybody. And it could be wrong, but I'm almost certain that I'm right because of the track record that I've had that tells me when to make a decision that really I should wait a year or two before making that purchase or making that investment rather than doing it now. But I never lived the philosophy of wait, save, and then you can get it. I mean, that would be the textbook thing to do. Spend zero money, save a bunch of money, invest that money, let the investments then pay for all your frivolous things. Never buy a car, never buy a house, never buy anything, never buy a dishwasher. Always find the cheapest. Do that for an infinite amount of time, and then at some point you'll be good to go. Just as we learned in my fatness scale over the last couple of years, you can't really never eat a piece of pie because eventually it's going to come crashing down. I think there's a happy medium, and so listen to your gut. Don't look at what other people are doing because they're full of crap. You'll have more money than them no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're not stupid enough to not know that maxing out your 401k. I'm using that as a simple example. Don't be the person that occupies the rower when you suck the most. Like, the person that sucks the most should be the nicest, not the meanest. Be the person that's the best should be the meanest, but it's always the opposite. And that's part of the reason why the person that's the best is the best, because they are the nicest, and I have the perception that I'm not very nice, but I'm actually a pretty nice dude, a pretty nice guy. I take care of the people around me, and you just don't take crap from girls who want to hit outside when you're the better outside hitter. That's stupid. So I think those are the biggest things that have led me down the right path. And sometimes stretching means that motivates you. There's times like when I bought my M3, I remember I'm like, man, I cold called crazy for several months after that. And I could probably attribute to those months after buying my M3 to a certain amount of clients that I got from that extra effort, that fear that drives you. But like, take today, I bought a house that's well below my means. Sometimes you realize that you don't really need it. Maybe you didn't want the big house or the really expensive car. I could have more cars. I could have more expensive cars. But my gut tells me where to go. I could buy a 458 today and just make payments on it, but my gut tells me that's probably not the right thing to do. But I did buy a GT4 when I probably shouldn't have, as an extra thing. But my gut told me that I'm okay to do that. And I think there are instances in everybody's lives where what the right thing to do is. To put some money in your retirement account. But I spent 15 years of my life teaching people how to retire And I have no desire to retire. That's a freaking fallacy. If you love your job, why the heck would you want to quit? The reason why you have a party when you retire is because you hated the job, you hated the people you work with, and you can't wait to get the heck out of there. Otherwise, why would you? Unless they forced you because you're too old to pick up a pencil. It's just, I think of things a little less traditionally. Actually, one of my newer friends, James, who is the guy responsible for the active pressure washer, he came down and visited, and we spent 3 hours just chatting about life and business and things like that, and getting to know each other. And it's interesting when you have two like-minded people that have similar but different experiences. You're really interested in that other person's take. And one of the things he brought up was that he has 2 children. One of his children is like a freaking wizard, rocket scientist, doing the traditional path of, I'm going to get perfect SATs, I'm going to go to medical school, I'm going to get the PhD or whatever. I'm going to take that Harvard Ivy League path. And then the other, he thinks, maybe it'd be better to take that $500,000 that you're going to invest in 8 years of school, give the kid $500,000 and let them start a business based on their passion. I would argue, take the $500,000, maybe it's only $250,000, spend the other $250,000 on a school that they actually want to be at and really enjoy going to, and can kind of learn life but not be so stressed out because they're working on their business on the side. It's kind of what I was doing. I was learning my sales skills. I loved college, hated class, but I loved college. I loved the money making aspect when I got the job selling things, was really learning how to sell. I love the two of them, and the two of them created the life experiences necessary to create who I am as a human today. And that's one of the things that was a really interesting take, in that maybe you don't have to take the traditional path with finance, with school, with all of that stuff. And that's the way to win. I would argue, I don't know who has the most money from the who's the most successful from the Villanova class of 2002, but I certainly wasn't at the top of the class from a grades perspective. I would guess that the vast majority, let's say the top 10% of students, probably aren't the top 10% of happy or top 10% of earners of most college graduating classes. A lot of times it's the people that were probably freer thinking. I don't know how I got on that side, but it's college. But
there you go. So Tim, all that to say, if you're smart enough to be asking this question, your gut's probably going to be right.
Trust your gut. Don't overstress it. Don't live life on a budget. That's stupid.
Don't listen to Matt.
It also depends on your. Now you're gonna want to live on a budget if you have a job that's pretty fixed. I've never had a fixed income, so I've always had that promise, but also the fear that it might not come in. In 2008, 50% of it went away real fast. 50% of not a lot came a little. So it's like I left selling home theater, took a 60% pay cut, finally got out of the program, started to make a little bit of money, and then took another 40% pay cut, 50% pay cut, and then fought my way back. So for years, I had to live based on that unknown. Then my gut told me how to do that, what car to buy, and I wanted to buy an M3 when I was younger, but I didn't, even though I wanted to. I just didn't. Probably could have, but it may not have worked out as well, and your gut will tell you what to do there. It doesn't have to be Dave Ramsey's way.
Thomas Williams says, when will the active pressure washer be back in stock? Thomas, it's in stock right now, but the packages are what is out of stock. So if you just need the pressure washer, go grab one. We got 47 of them in stock. I think that's it for today. We're past 3:30. You got to go claim your rower at the gym.
Yeah. You got to go
do some more fabricating.
I gotta get a golden plaque. I'm gonna have Bryce make me a Maddie head, big head, big head.
Bobblehead?
Like a big head sticker.
Oh, fat
I
head.
can start putting on stuff. Yeah, fat head. All right, people. Sorry for eating lunch on you, but I was doing some fabricating of some M3 parts. For real. See you soon.
All right, see you next week. Thank you for the questions.
Thirsty. Wish I had some more water.
If only you had an OG blender bottle soon.